Hello my friends, Boomy here once again with another video for you, my SWTOR brothers and sisters. How's everyone doing today in a galaxy far, far, far? 7.4. Oh wait, this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button for all your SWTOR fun news, guides, and updates right here, right now. My friends, 7.4 has come, it is here, and my friends, it's time to do a review, a Boomy's review of how many beards this update got compared to some of the other updates that SWTOR, Broadsword, BioWare have given us up to now. So let's just say right out of the gate that I was actually pretty impressed with 7.4 and everything that came with it, and we'll get into those meat and potatoes in just a second. But yeah, I was impressed. I didn't go into it expecting much, right? Because 7.3, it was its own thing, but I didn't go into 7.4 expecting much. Yes, I've reported the news on what was going to be in 7.4, but a lot of times when we read what the content is supposed to be for a game and we get into the game, sometimes those two things just don't match up, and sometimes I feel like we have run afoul of that recently with 7.0 especially. However, like I said, 7.4 had me pretty impressed by it. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of what came in 7.4. So we have a new cast, not new cast, we got some new characters coming in, some old characters as well, and especially one character that was an NPC spice dealer who gave you quests to do on Ordn Mantell back in yonder old people day. And I thought it was really cool that they brought Gizmo, that's who we're talking about, Gizmo back, and they brought him to the forefront of the story, kind of like this out of the way NPC that pretty much a lot of people forgot about, but they brought that in, and I love that they did that, and they need to continue doing stuff like that in the future for updates. I thought that was really awesome. But yeah, we got Ross Ordo, he's back in it. We got Lane Vizsla, yes, the Vizsla family tree, it's there. We got Arn, or as I like to call him, Nickelback. Darth Krovos is there, looking as lovely as ever, Miss Krovos. Ordn Mantellians are the people of Ordn Mantell. It has life on Cassian's Landing. It does. We'll talk about that in a second. And we got Petronium, or the Cathar chick with the force powers, which I have a gripe on that one. It's only a small gripe. Well, let's get into it while we get into the other stuff as well. It's just one of the beginning cinematic scenes, right? You're going in there to help, and you hear gunfire and blaster fire going off, and there's a Cathar taking out all these people, and her blaster goes to the floor, but then it's all done, you helped out. She goes for the blaster, uses her apparent force powers, because apparently she's got the force, and she uses it and takes it back with the force and holsters her weapon. So as the conversation continues on in the cinematic, you're just talking, you're figuring things out, you're going to go help her find her sister and all this jazz, and then as you're getting ready to leave, and this is one of the things I think quality assurance should have easily seen and went, oh, oops, that's an oopsie. She went and picked up that same blaster off the ground and then holstered it when she had already done that. That was just a big one. I mean, I know there's some clipping and scenes in there, but that one right there just stood out. I noticed that immediately. So that one was like, oh, that's a continuity error right there. But either way, you're helping out Cathar chick find her sister. And you met her there, newer character into the game, and we had a Greedo type character out there as well. But the Sith are there, the Republic's there, the Cassian people aren't, well, they just don't like everyone, and everyone's doing the whole power thing right behind the scenes. But those are the casting characters that are in this game, or in this update right now, and I'm pretty impressed with them, I will say at that. Now, I think the best character out of everything in 7.4 is Cassian's Landing, a character itself, a part of Ordn Mantell we had never been to. But I'm glad we are now there, because it's a big, like, bustling light, marketing type city trade area that has beautiful fire falls, lava falls, a gorgeous ocean. Like, I literally was running it and just stood there and watched it. I thought that the ocean was awesome. The atmosphere is pretty amazing, and this is just screaming, Broadsword, please make this a stronghold and a giant credit dump, because I will dump lots of credits into it if this becomes a thing. I really think they should do a stronghold on Ketzian's Landing. I think they missed an opportunity with offering a stronghold and Ketzian's Landing on Ordn Mantell. I think that would have been, I think that would have really gone over well and would have been part of the new credit sync thing that they're trying to do in this game. So what else did we get with 7.4? My gosh, guys, we got actually a lot of things in 7.4. We had the main story quest, side story quests, we have hidden quests, we've got dailies, lots of daily quests in 7.4, and we have a Datacron, we have a world boss, and like I said, of course, the main story. We have GTN changes as well, which we already talked about in a different video. But there are a lot of quality of life stuff that went into it, a lot of stuff that also they're trying to fight the inflationary monster in the game, which plagues every single MMO out there. So SWTOR is not excluded from all that. We are not something special where an inflation thing happened. It's happened, but they're doing things to fix it. I did a video about how I think they should do other things to fix it rather than taxing us like crazy, but that is neither here nor there, but this is what we got in this patch. And we got PvP seasons and all that jazz as well. Life Day is here, doing a thing, throw a snowball, hug a Wookiee, you know, get the Nutcracker, the brand new uniform in there. I'm going to be doing a video on Life Day shortly this week, which I thought would be nice because it's almost Christmas and that's what we do. But yeah, there is so much to do in this update, and I was happy that it actually took me a few days to complete it. Mainly because I'm just busy and I'm doing other stuff, but it took me more than, I think it was like 7.0 or 7.1, and I'm like, oh, I'm done? Why am I done? Yes, there were some bugs here and there, some bugs that they shouldn't have been there, but they made their ugly heads, they appeared. But SWTOR went in and fixed a lot of things, so big shout out to you guys over there at Broadsword for jumping in so quickly and with the communication and really taking the feedback at heart and fixing some of the issues that were there. So you know, I keep my my finger on the pulse of the forums, so we're seeing all the communication between Jackie and everyone else was really great to see, and I'm glad they really fixed a lot of things. That was awesome. But other than that, it wasn't the rockiest launch for SWTOR. This was actually pretty smooth, not the most horrible, and it goes to show that a lot of people were excited about this and how they found some, like the box bug. Everyone wanted to press it. Well, we were having issues with that, but that just goes to show that a lot of people have come back to play the game, and that is awesome. Now let's talk about the story in 7.4, right? Chains in the Dark, or as I like to call it, a fun day. We're still in the Mando story arc. We are still there. A lot of us are still trying to figure out what the legacy of the Sith is at this point right now, but we're still playing around with Hedicole. We're still playing around with Shae Vizsla, who's hiding right now. But that's what we're doing. We're going in, they're still trying to flush out the Mando Civil War. And man, it's a civil war. Hedicole's people are just attacking all the things everywhere. It's just kind of crazy, and you're stuck in the middle of it because why not? Why wouldn't you be? That's just where we are. But I also will say, after scouring the forums and scouring the internet and all that jazz, that this whole Mando arc that they're doing, the growing groans of the community is growing louder. A lot of people are just kind of like done with the whole Mandalorian story arc stuff and all that jazz, and I for one am just completely done with it as well. Yeah, honestly, if this was like a class story for the Mandos, this would be perfect. It'd be great. But I think a lot of people are just like, where is this even going? And we'll get into that from a Reddit user who I think summed it up perfectly. But right now, yeah, Hedda's doing her thing, trying to make a super weapon with the little Malgi-Poo's little Datacron stuff. Shae Vizsla, she's hiding. Yeah, she's hiding, in her number one dude is just out there going like, I don't know, okay, all this is happening. Anyone seen Shae? She's been in the bathroom for an awfully long time. Shae's like, I'm just gonna go out for smokes and a milk, I'll be back, and just never returned. But one of the highlights I really liked as playing like a warrior, an imp warrior, yes, doing my thing with the Sith, because dark side, best side, was the interactions he had with Sahar. And I love that Sahar finally broke away from her brother, broke away from Hedda and all that jazz. Remember, she's still young. She's still figuring things out. She's not doing really the right things or the correct things, right? But she breaks away and she talks to your character. And there is a choice in that wheel button for you to go, why don't you just come play with us on the dark side? Yes, it's going to be amazing. And you press it, and she's like, and you can tell she's thinking about it. She's contemplating in her mind, maybe I shouldn't, because she's there. You are watering the seed that Malgus planted in the beginning cinematic for this patch, right? For not this patch, but for the whole freaking expansion for 7.0. Malgus planted the seed of doubt in her, right? And now we're giving opportunities to water that seed, to water the soil, to give it some growth and see where SWTOR likes to go. I mean, I think she'll probably just take the middle ground and just go on, do her own thing. But I like the fact that that's there. Good storytelling, really like it. Shout out to you, storytellers. Love you guys. You guys are doing a pretty good job. But yeah, with that, and speaking of Malgus, he's still sitting in a chair in prison on a fleet pouting. When honestly, I honestly feel more sympathy for Malgus in this whole situation, where I'm like, just let him go do what he wants to do. Honestly, it'll probably be better for everyone if he does. But he's still there and stuff. So I'm really hoping with 7.5 and 7.6, they flush out this Mando storyline and they put it to an end and we really get into the knit and grit of what makes Star Wars awesome. Dark side versus light side, imps versus the Republic. We need that. That's what SWTOR is all about. We need it back. And honestly, I would say going on 8.0 and forward, we need to go and get fresh, brand new characters that we are going to fall in love with and relate to. Malgus is awesome, but I'm kind of done with Malgus as well. I think the vast majority of the community is kind of like, this is cool, I like Malgus, but we're kind of done with that. We need something brand new. Or, like I keep saying, bring Jadis back. Talk about like a plot twist. I'm just saying. But what I would love to see in 7.5 and in 7.6 is the whole Mando thing come to a close and it slips into the background. And we start bringing in, like I said, the Imperial and Republic stuff, the Darth Malgus, Darth Null, to get to know more about what she was up to. I would love for her to be a main antagonist to the story, but we need to know more of what's going on there. Right now, we're just flooded with this Mando stuff, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of muddy right now, the story is. And when it comes to storytelling, I will say there are a few times in 7.4 that the immersion of the story just felt broken. It did, and it wasn't just because it was like bad storytelling. It was the way they told the story. Now, I know we'll show a video clip in just a second about how they're trying to tell the story in different ways throughout the experience of the expansion, and I like that. That's a great way to do it. There shouldn't just be one way to tell this overarching story. I think that's a great idea. But I think they need to be consistent on how they do tell a story. And what I mean is how we're used to the cinematic quest-giving storytelling. When we go to a quest giver, there's a cinematic, they talk, you talk, is the whole thing. And then SWTOR, in the last couple years, or like 5 or 6, 7 years, has brought in the KOTOR style of storytelling, right? You get your little choices, the character says something, but your character just remains silent and you press and click your thing. I think that has its time and place, and I think that's okay. But in 7.4, it just kind of felt muddy and disjointed, and it broke the immersion for me because you would go from cinematic awesome to KOTOR style, and then cinematic awesome to KOTOR style. And the way the pattern was for me, it just broke the immersion of it, and I just finally just started clicking through because I'm like, oh my gosh, let's get this thing over with. I'm starting not to care. I think in the future, what they need to do is they need to find a good, healthy balance of how they want to tell the story in those two type of mediums. But that's just my constructive criticism on that one. It broke the immersion for me, and I know from talking to people in my community and seeing on the internet, we're not the only ones who felt the same way. But when it comes to the story of 7.0 and the legacy of the Sith and all this jazz, it does kind of feel like, well, the Mando thing's a thing, and we're like, what's happening? But it does kind of feel like the story's a little disjointed. We're not entirely sure where we're headed, what's going on. Kind of feels like it's being like slapped together as the patches come to light. And if you watch the new Overlords podcast, which is a great podcast, go give them a follow. Great set of people. They do a great job. But they had an interview with the devs, with the 2 story devs and with Keith. And they said something, or the devs said something in there that really caught my attention, made me go, so maybe that's why. And you're going to see it right here.
I mean, have you written it all? Is it all done? And you just are just chomping at the bit to get it out there? Or
God,
are you like
letting that would be amazing.
Are you like letting it grow? Or is it like not done? You don't even know where it's going to go. So tell us about that.
So I would say it's a middle ground for sure. Where we're headed with this particular story arc is something that's been, I would say, in the works since before Charles left. Probably right before he left was when we started really putting down the stakes along the way, the guideposts of what the story was going to be.
Now, I know a lot of people are probably like, Boomy, you took it out of context. And maybe I did, but I think this kind of shows, whereas, like, for example, World of Warcraft, right? They've just announced the next 3 expansions. They're already working on not just the War Within, the latest one coming our way, but they're also working on the second one after that, and they're working on the third one, so they know where the story is going. They know the end of it, and they're filling in the blanks there, but they're constantly working on it, so they have a massive outline as to where the story is going to go. And with that clip, it kind of feels like that massive outline kind of got changed when Charles left, and it kind of just feels like they might know where they want to go at the end of it, but it's the middle part that does kind of seem a little flimsy. We're not quite sure. And hey, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. They made a massive move over to Broadsword with all that bedlam going on over there. They lost a lot of people. So I'm not gonna rain on the parade or just like crap all over them. I think they're doing a good job with the tools they have and the stuff that's going on right now in the current situation. But it does kind of bring to light a little bit of what might be going on and why we're feeling the way we are with this current story arc. Now, will 7.5 flush it out? I sure hope so. 7.6? Sure hope so. Will 8.0 bring a revitalization to the game? Gods, I am hoping it does. We have to trust these people because they're the ones making the game. And I really do believe at the end of the day, they love the community, they love the game, and they want to do what's best for the game. I really believe that. But I really think that, and thankfully Jackie is our intermediary, that they need to listen to the community more when it comes to story, because I think community has a lot of great ideas, and also I think you're seeing it right now in the community as to why they're not so happy with how the story is going right now. But with all that said and done, this Reddit user, Archetype S on Reddit, I believe pretty much summed this up beautifully, and let's get into what he had to say. It titles it on Reddit, "Where is the story even going? 5.10 to 7.4 spoilers." This is going to be a bit of a rambling, so please bear with me. So we just got another batch of story quests with 7.4, and just like the last couple story updates, there's barely any tangible development of the plot, and more questions are raised while no one seems to be in a hurry to provide answers. And I just keep wondering, where's this whole thing even going? And maybe even more importantly, for how much longer? I honestly kind of feel like I'm ready to just be done with this plot. This whole storyline started all the way back with 6.0, technically even 5.10, as we are told retroactively later on. That was 5 years ago, 5 years since we learned of the survival of Darth Malgus and him consequently going AWOL again to pursue his own designs. We run after him, learning small bits of information without a way of piecing it together as to what his motivations are. Then we suddenly have a Mandalorian civil war breaking out while we're dealing with the final plan of the Sith Emperor, and these two storylines finally cross over in 7.0. When the MacGuffin of the content cycle, Darth Null's holocron, passes over from Darth Malgus to Sahar Katine, who in turn joins up with the rogue Mandalorians of the Hidden Chain because her brother is part of it, and the MacGuffin lands in the hands of Hedda Cole, the Hidden Chain's leader and the rival to Mandalore the Avenger. This happened in February 22, and since then, what exactly? A lot of cryptic talk from Malgus, Sahar, Hedda Cole, and even the Voss, and nothing is really coming of it. Yes, we do learn a bit about the origins of Darth Null and how she was part of the Sith Emperor's machinations centuries back, but really, what good is all of this? I have this feeling that we are barely advancing the plot in any significant way. While we can sort of piece together what the machine Hedda is now building based on what Malgus was talking about in the Disorder trailer and what we learned from the fortress on Elam in 7.1, we have no idea what Hedda is doing with all of this or what Malgus's plan even is, considering that he thinks he has won even though he's incarcerated on Fleet and can no longer directly interfere. Am I alone in feeling that the plot is just sort of meandering forward with mystery piling upon mystery while feeling no need to render any sort of payoff? I know the dev team's resources don't exactly allow for as many big, important content updates as we'd like at this point in the game's life, but this entire storyline has been going on for entirely too long. I have taken to tell it. I really don't think that whatever is it is that Broadsword is building towards can ever measure up to the amount of time they have taken to tell it. I still remember people getting tired of the Dreadmaster story arc that started all the way back at launch, and that storyline did only last for close to 2 years. This Malgus, Hidden Chain, Holocron of Null plot has gone on long enough. I just want some resolution. I want to move on. And I have to say, I completely agree with Archetype on this one. I think he said it really well. He, she, whatever. I think they said it really well, and they're very, they were very to the point. And I think that's what's needed. I think this is how a lot of people are feeling. If you go through the comment section, a lot of people are echoing what this person had to say. And I think that is the thing right now. And someone in my comment section had mentioned, like, dude, we're only a couple patches in. That's true, but it feels like we've been doing this forever, and that's the problem. We need to have resolution to what's going on. There were no big cliffhangers in 7.4. There weren't. There was barely there was not even a hanger in 7.3. We really didn't learn anything new from the Voss. All we did was sweep a cantina, which that quest is probably one of the most unpopular quests now in SWTOR. So good on you guys. We haven't really learned much, and we're just kind of like going through the steps. But if you want to tell a great and good story, you need to write stories that lead up to something that grabs the reader's, player's attention enough for them to want to continue to go to the next chapter. And I think the problem right now is we are stuck in this Mando arc thing that I kind of feel like they've written themselves in a corner to where they have to finish it out. If they finish it out too quickly, then it's going to look like, yeah, they finished it out too quickly. But there's got to be a good balance. They need to be able to strike it for the upcoming patches. As for 7.4, listen, I give it 7 beards out of 10. I thought it was really good, much better than 7.3. I think it's probably one of the best updates we got in the whole 7.0 cycle for this expansion. And I really hope they continue to bring more content patches up like this, but just work on the story a little bit. We need some resolution here, Broadsword. We know you can do it. You guys have great imaginations, a great team, great writers. Guys, I will never say a big bad thing about the writers and the team there. They're doing what they can do. They're doing a great job. Yes, their resources are stretched thin, but at the same time, you can still do a lot of things with a little things. That's the truth. So, a little bit of patience, a little bit of grace, it's a great thing. This video is going a lot longer than I wanted to, but I just wanted to get this out there. I wanted you guys to know. I don't want to hear what you guys have to say about 7.4. Am I wrong? Do you think I'm a nut? Party on, put it down in the comment section below. Just be nice about it. Or am I spot on? Whatever. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's keep the conversation going on down there. And hit the subscribe button. Become part of the family here at BoomyNation, the freak show YouTube, the black sheep of gaming. And as always, my friends, remember to be kind. And don't forget to hug and smile at a Wookiee and then neuter it. We'll see you later, my friends. Good day.